The benefits of QML and C++ integration is that we can inject C++ functionality directly into QML code. Now, this is particularly useful when we want to invoke complicated application logic, and it also is going to enable us to implement more complex data models because we can use the C++ types. And this will let us handle much more complex data sets with those models. It also provides us with a method which we can wrap third-party libraries in a wrapping function and expose those to QML. And another benefit of this is that we're going to get performance gain because C++ has much better performance than QML. Not only that, but with QML using the JavaScript portion of that for our logic, we can encounter runtime security issues, and the JavaScript, as our application becomes more complex, becomes harder to manage as well. So some of these integration methods that we have available to us, we have a few. First off, we can register them as an instanceable QML type. And when we do this, our C++ object is going to act like any ordinary QML object. Another way that we can do this is we can register as a singleton type. This is going to allow for a single instance of that class to be imported into the QML code. And lastly, we can embed into the QML code a context property that will allow our instance properties, methods, and signals to be accessible from QML. Now, we can't expose everything to from C++ to QML, but the things that we can expose are signals, slots, properties, any enums that we have declared the QEnum macro for, and any methods that are declared with the QInvocable method. If you look at our example class here, interval settings, we can see that it is made from a Q object. The first line here is this Q object macro. This is very important if we want to use properties or signals and slots, as it is required for those. We have a couple properties. One property we have is duration. It is of integer type. It has a getter function, which is called duration, and a setter function, which is called set duration, as well as a notification signal called duration changed. Now, we're going to have to define these getter and setter functions in our public space, and then we're also going to define this signal in our signal declaration. Now, our enum unit is going to be exposed only if we have this QEnum macro after the enum. And that will cause it to be injected into the QML space. Lastly, here I also have an example of a QInvocable method. Here we have start, and we can call this directly from QML. Now, for our getters and setters, since they're part of the properties, we do not need to add this QInvocable macro. They're going to be automatically handled for us. Now, after we set this up, what we could do here is we're going to expose this as a context property. And we're going to do that by including in our main the QML context. That's going to allow us to set the context property. Here we're going to use the engine's root contexts set context property method to expose app data. App data is going to be the name that we see on the QML side. And after that, we have a reference to backend data. Backend data is our created object that we want to expose to QML. Once we have done that, we are able to use app data like any other object in QML. So here we can just say app data, app width, and app height to get those properties from it. Of course, assuming we implement those properties into our app data.
Thanks for watching. If you want to learn more, please subscribe to our channel and check out the free QML programming course on our website. The link is in the description.